What's up, everybody? Before you get into today's episode of Cosines and Tangents, I just have to shout out Anchor because it is by far the easiest way to start and create your own podcast. So let me explain. One, it is free. Also, there are several tools that you can use to record and edit your podcast right from your phone and your computer. Also, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple, and many, many more. And you can make money by doing your podcast with no minimum listenership. Ain't that awesome? And you have everything at your fingertips. It is so easy. So, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started now.
Hey,
It's a fun ride trying to get this to work.
so I think,
All right. What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Saina Wind. You have tuned into another episode of Cosines and Tangents. I may be your friend, I may be your foe. I don't know, but all I know is that I'm so excited for you to hear my next guest. He is a fellow Memphian. And I am super excited. So I'm going to go ahead and just ask him to jump in and introduce yourself for me, please.
hey, what's up, guys? My name is Ryan James. I'm an actor and print model that resides in Atlanta, Georgia, but by way of Memphis, Tennessee. So shout out to Memphis. I had a career in production prior to the talent side. I used to work with BET and the PR side of things, and crossed over to the talent side and started doing commercials and print work. And I've shot major brand commercials, including like Delta Airlines, Sprite, Uber, a couple of different films. One of my most recent projects was the Underground Railroad on Amazon Prime Video, and I also have a film called The Killing Secret on Amazon Prime. So yeah, I'm just out here in Atlanta grinding it out, trying to get to the next level. And like Santa said, we're Memphians, so we have this hustle mentality. So
Yes.
that's how
Yes.
we do.
I got a chance to listen to one of your other interviews, and when you said hustle, I was like, show you ain't wrong. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's all
it's
about
in
the
us.
hustle. Yes, it's just in
It's
us.
definitely in us for sure. I think when I talk to other Memphians, like they always just like we really can feel that when you say that because I just think it's the way we were brought up. That's one thing about Memphis people. I think we're gonna do what we got to do to
Mm-hmm.
make it happen for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. Like I know I definitely get that from my dad. He was a hustler, and so he made
Hmm.
things work. So, but yeah, thank you so much for joining me and coming on my podcast. And I know I remember seeing you advertising that you were in the Underground Railroad, and I sent you a message. It's like I'm probably gonna only watch this for you, and I sure did. I just
I remember that.
but I really enjoyed it, so I definitely want to jump into it. I know I did have some, and I maybe you've heard this before. I know it took me a while to get into it just because with all the climate that we've been in the last few
Yeah,
years, it was kind of hard to want to watch something with the enslaved narrative. But
yeah,
once I started it started kind of like a typical enslaved narrative, but once I started it became just a beautiful cinematic journey
yeah.
of
That's
just
exactly. Hmm.
yeah, it was so beautifully shot. Like I just some of the scenes where you see people just standing alone and the light is just hitting the skin and it's just the long shots were just so amazing. So kudos to you guys and for making such a really great piece of work.
Yeah, it's still amazing to even know I was a part of something like that was shot so beautifully. Working with Barry Jenkins. Shout
Yes.
out to Barry, an Academy Award winning director, and
Hmm.
his eye and his vision. He just has this thing that, I tell people anytime you see anything that Barry has directed, it reminds you of like a beautiful moving portrait. Like he
Yes.
is just that's what it reminds you of. Like you said, the lighting and just the stillness of it. And he has such a great team. So like, everybody from the top to the bottom, whether it was the cameraman, the lighting department, the scoring of the show, I mean, everything just came together beautifully. So I definitely agree with you with
Right.
that. It didn't give you the stereotypical slave piece, and it
Right.
had a very mystical feel to it. And I think
Mhm.
that differentiates us from typical slave things that people have seen in the past for sure.
Right. And I think that's one of the great things about it, because I feel like what's missing from a lot of African American or black narratives is that the sense of escapism and
Hmm.
mysticism, and that it had, of course, the realism of it, but the fact, and spoiler alert, you guys, the train is real this
Yeah.
um in this production, which it was such a beautiful train. I was like, man, I want to be on this train. Where y'all going?
Yeah, a lot
And
of like, and it's funny. I read the book prior. I had never heard of this actual book. Colson Whitehead, the author of the book,
mm-hmm,
he won a Pulitzer Prize for this book, and I wasn't familiar with the story that he had written, and it was interesting when I first remember reading it after I got casted, and realizing like, okay, this one actually, has real trains underground versus the real life story of the Underground Railroad and
mm-hmm.
everything. So that was always really interesting to me.
Yeah, because I know when I was growing up, I'm like, I wish it was a real train.
I think that was like everybody's mindset, when we were kids, obviously, and we were
Hmm.
hearing about it. The first thing you're thinking is, okay, where are the trains?
I know, like, I want the toot toot. Come on, I want the Thomas the Tank Engine. Come, I want something. You
Exactly.
know. Well, let me ask you this: like, did you have any reservations about playing in the role of an enslaved person? Well, no, actually, you weren't enslaved in
No, I
this.
wasn't. It was funny. I was a former slave, my
Right.
character, and a lot of scenes that I was a part of got cut. Obviously, in production, that happens because we had a lot more we shot. But shows like that, I get it. I was a supporting character, so much does get cut for it to tell the story. But no, I had no reservations.
Hmm.
One because I mean it's Barry Jenkins, so
Right.
I'm like, how dare I want to turn anything down when I'm gonna be working with somebody of his caliber. I
Hmm.
was extremely just grateful that he saw the talent in me to even be a part of this project. And there were a few times where we would, after set, like we would go out as a cast and just have drinks, just wind down. And I remember him telling me like he remembered when he first saw me audition, and how he saw the
Oh.
talent. And it's just like to hear people like that tell you things like that, it kind of just reassures you that you're on the right track. Because
Hmm.
me being in comparison to the my castmates, I was the newbie, and most of them I've seen them on different shows and seen different movies. And when I was on set, I can honestly say I had imposter syndrome a few times where I'm just like, do I belong? Am I supposed to be here? Because I never imagined working on a $1 million budget set like that
Right.
so early in my career.
Yeah.
And but I will say like it reassured me like, yeah, you were supposed to be here. I would talk to my castmates, I would talk to Barry, and everybody's like, no, you're here because you belong here. Your talent got you here.
Hmm.
And so that would keep me going each day when we would be on set. And just I had my own trailer, and like I said, from the top to the bottom, because Barry is such a phenomenal, humble person. I feel like the whole team, whether it was hair and makeup, whether it was the ADs and the PAs, and everybody just treated everybody so great. Even our background actors, you get on some sets and the background actors kind of just pushed to the side, and they don't want them interacting with the call sheet actors, and they made everybody feel included. The
Hmm.
background actors, they create the world of the project, and a lot of people forget that. So I love that they made everybody feel included. They made everybody feel comfortable, and they just made it an overall phenomenal experience. I still have to pinch myself sometimes because I just can't believe that I was a part of it.
I know, because I was watching, because I was like, man, I remember this man from
Yeah,
I don't know,
we go back.
we go way back, and I was like, I wonder does he remember what I said to him the first time I met him. I said, don't hurt
What
my
did?
suit.
Wait a minute. Remind me. What did you say? What was the first thing? Revive me, because I gotta revive me, dog.
It's been years now. I think it was the Atlanta Greek picnic, because we're both Greek. What up? Shout out.
Yep.
And shout out to my sorors, and
Yeah. Shout out to the
and
Andy love. Yeah.
exactly. And I think you were talking to one of my sorority sisters, and I'm very protective. I am a mama bear, and I got your number, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, don't hurt her. And then I
Oh
walked
yeah,
away.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, now I do remember that. Uh-huh.
I was like,
That is
are you,
crazy how much time ago that was.
I know. I said something. I said, "What are your?" I'm so dumb. What are your intentions?
Man, like literally now that you're reminding me, I can remember that was so hot out there that year,
Yes,
as
yes.
always. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
But yeah, I remember that. I was like, I'm gonna, because that's what I was thinking. I was like, I bet he don't remember that. I hope he doesn't take
I
offense.
didn't until you just literally brought that back up. That's crazy how you can jog my memory saying that. I do now
Hey,
though.
I have a long memory for things for either the good or the bad. I don't know yet. I haven't used that power, but
That's funny. That's hilarious.
I know you just said something about the imposter syndrome.
Hmm.
Just to get back into it, because we could talk shop all day about indie love, and maybe we could save that for another conversation. But
For
I
sure.
know you talked about the imposter syndrome.
Hmm.
And I feel like us as people of color, we do suffer from that. And I know that your castmates helped you with get with that validation that you are in the right spot. But
Hmm.
like, are there any other things that you do for your mental health that keeps you on track?
You know, it's funny, and you just touched on a really important thing. Like with mental health in our community, we don't really
Mm-hmm.
realize like how important it is to really take care of that, and find things to cope, or talk about problems we might be having. And
Mm-hmm.
myself, I've always been that person. I think it just comes from my family. Like, oh, you're gonna be all right, you're gonna be good. But I'm realizing now that I'm getting older, no, it's really important to like go to therapists and just talk about things, don't hold things in, because it would drive you crazy. It seriously will.
Mm-hmm.
As black men in general, it's so much going on, and every day we're seeing something on the news, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just it's very hard. And it's funny to tie into the show when we would have scenes, in particular like the scenes in the churches and stuff, when
Mm-hmm.
the hunters and stuff are coming in. And I remember when we would be doing those scenes and they would yell cut, sometimes you would have to snap out of it because you're seeing these white males pointing guns at you, and it literally just, in your mind, you're thinking about it in real life, like the police brutality and just the different things that we go through
Yeah.
as black men. And I would almost have to like think about it like, oh yeah, these are actors, these guys are cool. But like you got these guns pointed at you and they're looking at you like, and I'm just like, it really puts you in the mindset of what our ancestors went through in
Yeah.
that time, and just trying to like think about how strong they were, and just like, wow, like these people really, really like endured a lot, and we think that the stuff we're going through is a lot, which is still a lot for us, but it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, to think about what they went through. It's
Exactly.
crazy.
Yeah, because I know with the last episode of the series, it showed the main character's mother and how she was actually talking about one of the characters, Polly, who was obviously having some type of postpartum. She was having a mental
Mhm.
break, and then that ultimately, spoiler alert, it had a very, very, very sad and traumatic ending. I love though that they did still hit on that mental health, even though those words weren't
Yeah,
what
yeah. It
wasn't.
wasn't like a word they used, right?
Yeah,
But everybody understood what it was going through,
ex,
right?
ex, right. And so, but even though Mabel, the mother, she knew, she's like, she ain't right. So I love
Hmm.
that we still snuck in us a lot of the kind of the new things that we are trying to make happen now in the past. Like there was the love scene between Mabel and Royal, and there was that level of consent that I saw in there, and I
Hmm.
love those little aspects of it. Um, so some of the things that I want to ask you, kind of since we talked about that mental health, I'm going to ask you, how are you doing? How are you doing mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually?
I think that mentally and emotionally, I have my days. Not to turn the subject around, but like I was a person like actually coming up in a few days. Today is what, the second. So
Mm-hmm.
next Friday, which is the 10th, will be the 8th anniversary of my mom's passing.
Mm,
And
I'm
that
sorry.
around this time is always it's funny, like your body kind of reminds you, even if you're not even looking at the calendar.
Yep.
And I'm sure other people who've lost parents or close loved ones can kind of relate. um even if you're not even, noticing the date coming up, your body kind of just starts to feel weird. And I've
Mm-hmm.
noticed ever since it happened, ever since my mom passed, it always, like, my body or my mind, or I just start to feel a little bit down
Yeah.
without even noticing that, oh, September's here.
Yep.
And it's one of those things that, regardless of how much time passes, it's just like now, just a part of my normal yearly routine. I know it's coming. I know
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to get down. So I typically try to do things to get my mind off of it, or things that my mom would do, to just remind me of her.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
like, my mom was a big Whitney Houston fan, so she loved, like, the Preacher's Wife soundtrack. So, like, around that time, I typically listen to that soundtrack and just remember being in the car with her listening to those songs and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
because it kind of makes me smile a little bit more than me sitting, because the first couple of years, obviously, I would be really, really sad. But now,
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of try to do things that reminded me of her to get myself out of that, somber mood. So I think anytime you've lost a parent or anybody super close to you, it's natural to have your days where you're just not in a good mood. Some people might not understand why. Hell, you don't even understand why.
I know.
um, you
Until you
know,
remember, you're like, oh damn. Yeah.
like, it's just like, so I tell people, anybody that's in my life, whether, it's a relationship or a friend or anybody, I, let them know, if you get to know me, one of the biggest parts of me is losing my mom. And I want you to know that I might have my days where I'm not feeling well, and you might not understand it, but understand that definitely always contributes to that.
Right.
And I snap out of it because I'm a big boy. But I'm human. I have my little moment, then I snap out of it. But
Yeah.
I think that overall, this has been a good year for me. 2021,
Mm-hmm.
especially coming out of the COVID year,
Oh,
has
yeah.
been a really, really good year for me. And I think that, if I had to compare it to, other years, I can say that this year mentally I've been in a very better headspace. When you work in an industry like I work in TV and working in model, as a model and print work and stuff like that, you question yourself whether you're good enough or not. It
Mm-hmm.
tears at your self esteem. It tears at your confidence because you get no a lot.
Yeah.
And
Rejection becomes your
you
best friend.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So, I think that once you get to a point where you don't take it personal and realize it doesn't mean you're not good enough, it just means you weren't right for that particular role or
Right.
that particular thing. Then you get in a better headspace. When you're first starting out, you're going to take everything personal. When you get those no's, you're always like, dang, should I still be going to auditions? God, are you giving me a sign that I should be doing something else? Like, you're questioning everything at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the prime examples, the casting director who actually casted me in Underground Railroad, her name is Megan Lewis. Shout out to her. She's a big casting director here in Atlanta, and I'd auditioned for numerous projects for her prior to that. And when she casted me in Underground Railroad, I realized that, what's for you is for you. I'm thinking in my head, Megan doesn't rock with me. I've gotten no from her a few times, but it wasn't that. It's just they already have an idea of what they want, who they want in these projects. So I think if I had to, one thing, message to new actors, new people in the industry, don't take it personally when you get a no, because it doesn't mean you're not good enough. It just means that, okay, that wasn't for you. What's for you is for you. And now that I've gotten to the point in my career where I can realize that helps me in my mental. I don't question myself. I don't think that I'm not good enough anymore. I just know
Mm-hmm.
that, okay, if I didn't get it, okay, cool. I do the audition, I leave it where it is. I don't think about it. I don't dwell on it because it will drive you crazy.
Yeah. I
And
already.
that's something
Yeah.
that I've worked. That's something that I've worked on, and I think that's helped my mental health for sure. You never want to. We pick ourselves apart anyway. That's just what we do as humans. Like we question everything, whether the way we look, the way we this. That's just normal for
Mm-hmm.
people. So you definitely have to work on those small things like that to just keep yourself sane. So I would say, to answer your question, my mental health this year has been much better.
Mm-hmm.
Emotionally, I have my days just like anybody else, but I think that overall, like, mental health, emotional health, physical health, I've been in the gym so much since last year. My body's probably in the best shape it's ever been in. Shout out to my trainers, two of my fraternity brothers here own a gym, and I really just started taking it seriously when like right around COVID time. I was like, you know what, this is something that I need to do in the meantime, and when I got a trainer that holds you accountable, because
Yeah.
I'm the type, I go to the gym, but if I go by myself, especially back then, I would stop and go home, whatever. But when you have a person holding you accountable, especially if you're paying, I don't like wasting money.
Right.
So that's another thing, that might be the Memphis in me too. We don't got time to be wasting money and all that. So it's
You
like,
know,
listen,
Memphis folks don't like to be broke. We don't
listen, you know
like to
how we
be.
exactly. We don't have time
We
for
don't like
being
to waste
broke and
our
wasting
money.
money. Like, so when I know that I'm paying for it, I'm gonna do it.
Hmm.
And so my physical health is definitely and I'm glad that my physical shape is like the best it's been, because now that I'm a sign model and I'm shooting so much, I'm more confident when I'm behind the camera. That's another thing that can affect your mental health. If you don't feel like you
Hmm.
look good, it's gonna you're gonna start picking yourself apart. So it like all ties in together for sure.
Right. Okay, so with that, you mentioned the because the one thing I'm very passionate about is, like I said, the mental health, but also I worry about Black men. So I love to hear that you are taking care of yourself mentally and physically. So is that part of your self care routine, just to work out? You do have any
Yes,
other things that
yes,
you
it
do?
definitely. You definitely. It has become. It's funny because I would hear my friends back in the day say stuff like, "Man, I work out when I'm stressed, or I work out when I just feel like I got too much going on and I need to just wind down." And I would just be like, "Man, working out is too. It's nothing I can see myself doing." When I'm like, like that was my mindset, but that was because I wasn't into the habit of doing it and I didn't understand the benefits of it. But
Right.
now, yes, like going to the gym, it definitely releases stress and just
Hmm.
clears your mind. And as a guy, when we're seeing these gains and you're seeing your chest and your arms and stuff getting bigger, like that just, man, listen, that will
He's just
make you
like,
want to go to that
yeah.
gym. Like, no, seriously. And I did not understand that until I got into that. Like, I'm like, man, I get why my partners, used to be at the gym and you see those gains and then you're putting on your clothes and your clothes are fitting differently and looking a certain way. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I get this now. So yeah, that's definitely one of my self-care routines. Another thing I do,
Mhm.
not to cut you off, another thing that I
Oh, you're
do is
fine.
I do like with me, I like to go get massages and facials and
Oh
um
man, look at you.
that's the noob in me. The pretty boys, like we like to look good, feel good. So I go get a manicure, get a massage, get a facial,
Hmm.
and obviously all guys can relate to you get that fresh chop, that fresh haircut lineup,
Yep.
whatever like that. You get shaped up, and now you like, I wasn't depressed. I just needed a haircut.
Be like, yo, baby, yo, I
Yo,
feel
look, that you look,
good.
look. As soon as you get that haircut, it's like, oh man, I thought I was depressed. I really just needed it. I just needed the hairline though,
I
like
just need to
little
make
stuff like
you need to make
that.
sure your hairline was still there. I feel
Listen,
you.
listen. Like it's crazy how much a haircut can change a guy. Like it's just like when y'all go get y'all face beat. It's like the same difference. Like we get this haircut, man, I get this beard shaped up. I'm like, I
Yes.
bet.
I'm the same way. When I get my eyebrows waxed, I'm like, I'm a new bitch.
Exactly. I hear a lot of girls say that, like, and I get that. Like, it really
Right.
does, like, help.
I got you. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're putting a name to it and doing that self care. And that's one thing I want to put out there because like I have two older brothers, and I always like, so what are you doing for self care? And they're from Memphis, and they're like working. And I was like, oh, that's not self care. So hopefully they'll listen to this and they'll be like, let me do something else because coming from another black male to another black male, it just hits different. And I want that
Yeah.
to, I want people to hear us like, take care of yourselves. It is okay. Um, but let's go back to the acting thing. Cause I am
Okay.
curious because I know, just going back to working on the Underground Railroad, I know there's different people, people from different walks of life.
Hmm.
Um, a- uh, uh, I'm trying to say, were there a lot of black people from like England, or just was it a lot of American?
Yeah, our cast was literally casted worldwide. A
Oh,
lot
that's
of our
awesome.
lead actress Tuso, who played Cora, she's from South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Tuso. She is a big star over in South Africa actually, and
Oh, cool.
so this was her first American project
Mm-hmm.
that she had ever done. So she was really excited about tackling the American side of things because
All
she was
right.
so used to it over there. And a lot of our actors were from the UK,
Mm-hmm.
and it was crazy to be amongst people from so many places. And
Yeah.
that was another thing that made me feel so good, is because I know that Barry, literally was casting from everywhere. So I was thinking about just the amount of people going up for each role, and the fact that, the ones of us that received it, like it said a lot about us because they were literally casting from all over the place to get the right, talent that he wanted for this project. And one thing I'll say about those actors from overseas, like they live and breathe acting. Like they go to conservatories from the time they're kids, and just watching them work, it's like being in an actor's master class. Like they are just phenomenal. Most of them come from the theater side of things, and theater
Mm,
actors are already phenomenal actors,
yeah.
because they're used to that. You can't stop. You can't say cut. You have to keep going, and
Oh, very method.
very
Mm-hmm.
method. And so watching them, I would just be in awe. Just I would sit up, like even if I wasn't filming, I would sometimes leave my trailer and come onto set and just watch, because I was just like, this is crazy just to see them in action. Like they were amazing for
Mm.
sure.
Well, can I ask you though, just like, because there's always this, there seems to be this beef, the UK versus the US actors when it comes to playing traditionally African American roles. Do you have an opinion about that at
Well, I
all?
think I think that not necessarily a beef. I think that the American actors, particularly the black ones, feel as if they're already like a limited amount of roles
Right.
out there for us, and so they're like, well, why are they giving them to the people from overseas when you have these black actors over here who've been grinding and working, for so long to get these same roles? But I don't look at it like a negative thing. These
Mm-hmm.
people, obviously they want more opportunity, and they might not be getting as much opportunity in the UK. So I mean, who could blame them for coming over here and auditioning as well? It's how the game works. It's how the industry
Right.
works. So I don't take it like that. I can understand some of the veterans in the industry who have worked their asses off for a long time. I could understand it if they were probably up for the same roles and they probably take it a little bit more personal. But it's kind of like it's just like with anything. People can come from overseas and get a job in corporate America. Like in
Right.
every industry that can happen. I'm sure we have a lot of foreign doctors, that have come over
Ex-
here and became medical doctors and taken a place of somebody who was in school over here. So I just think about it. It's just like all you can do is, again, back to what I said. What's for you is for you.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Period.
And I agree. Like I was just curious because I know because people were talking about how like Daniel Kaluuya, but I'm like, if you see that man act, you get it.
Listen, he's
You just like
amazing.
that
He's
was the best
amazing.
thing. Like
He
who
does his
else?
thing.
Yeah, like so that's cool. I was just curious about how you felt about that. Well, I know we're
Yeah.
getting close to time, but I got a couple of other quick
Yeah, yeah,
questions.
go ahead.
Do you have a dream part? A dream?
So a dream part for me, I can say this. I can give you more examples. For
Mm-hmm.
me, like on my radar, I really love like the drug cartel shows, the shows along the line of Queen of the South, or Power, or The Shy. I really like those dark, grimy, reminiscent of when we were younger. You remember New York Undercover, like those
Yes.
type of shows. I
Mm-hmm.
love those shows, and to me, like The Shy, Power, those kind of remind me of the old New York Undercover ish type shows. I
Okay.
really would love to star in or recur in one of those type of projects.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually there's a really big agency in New York right now interested in signing me, and my agency currently is here in Atlanta, so I would have an agent in the New York region as well, and that would open me up to those projects because they only cast actors out of like New York and Chicago and stuff like that for those
Okay.
particular shows since they film up there.
Yeah.
So I actually have a Zoom meeting tomorrow with that that agency. So if they
Mm-hmm.
sign me, that is going to open up the realm of those particular shows and stuff that are filmed up there. Like my friend, he just shot The Equalizer with Queen Latifah, and that shoots up in New
Ooh.
York. But
Dope.
that was because his New York agent, they went through that agency. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely would say my dream project type role would be either be one of those, or to be a part of like a more like an Insecure. I love like the
Uh.
30-minute comedic
Yes.
black romantic type show.
Mm-hmm.
I love those as well. So like working with something like a Issa Rae in a project like that would be dope as well.
Oh, I can definitely see you. I would love to see you as just, even though this is my vision, I would love to
Mhm.
see you as a villain because you're so nice and so caring. And
Hey, that would be fun.
I think villains have the most fun. Like I
That
get to
would be
see like
fun.
being like the unassuming character, and then you like smack somebody
Listen,
in the face. I think that would be really.
listen. We're gonna speak it into
Oh
existence.
yeah,
I'll be the
I've
villain.
been
Let's
knocking
do
on wood on for you, baby.
it.
I was like, I hope your meeting goes very well. I think it will, just because I.
No, and let me tell you this. I appreciate you and
Mhm.
a lot of people from Memphis, or the ones of us who we all went to college in the same area. So many people, like, we all know each other from those undergrad years, and
Right.
people have been like showing love, supportive, and it really means a lot. And I try to make sure when I get on Facebook, when people do send messages or like write comments, I try to reply to people because I want people to know, like, this keeps me going,
Oh,
knowing that people
good.
are supporting it, pushing it this year along. I've like I said, I've had such a phenomenal year, so I'm just so happy and so just enthusiastic about like my career and my future, because I know that so much has been happening. I know it's going to only go up from here for sure.
Oh yes,
So thank
and
you for that.
oh, you're very welcome. Thank you. Like I was so nervous when I texted. I was like, "Hey, can you please be on my
Look, and
podcast?"
my bad. Look, it's like so much been going on. No, you were traveling, then I had stuff going on,
Yes,
and my car acting stupid. I finally got it. It's just been so much. I'm like, look, but I'm going to do this. Like, I wasn't gonna like not do it.
I
Because that's important. Like, especially for people from the hometown, I want us all to win, and whatever feels or whatever we're doing. Like, I want everybody to like. It's enough room for everybody to be out here eating for sure.
exactly. And I think what we need to realize that we feel like there's only one table, but no, we can always build
Mm-mm.
upon the
We can
table.
always
We
build
can
upon the
always make
table.
more room. That's one thing I love about this because I feel like it's the Issa Rae era where we saw, or like the Black Panther Issa Rae, when they were finally
Hmm.
realized again how powerful Black representation and how far
Listen, Lisa Ray was on
oh,
YouTube, and people forget
yes,
that this girl was on YouTube. Now look at her, like this same
exactly.
show, like, and now look at her. It's like I want people to realize that, and that's one of the things I tell people, because I get a lot of messages from, in particular, like younger Black dudes from Memphis, and they're like, "Man, you're such an inspiration." And I'm like, that's literally my biggest purpose. I want to inspire people from our
Hmm.
hometown. Being from Memphis, we don't believe this type of stuff is tangible. Like, that's not
Yes.
something that we thought we could do. And I was talking to a classmate from high school. She had me speak to her class on Zoom, and I was telling them, I said, "Y'all, I walk those same streets that you guys are on. Like, don't
Mhm.
think that this stuff isn't tangible. The difference is you got to be willing to go for it." Get out of your comfort zone. If you have to move, don't, like, so many people are scared to like move and leave. And I'm like, sometimes you
Mhm.
got to go where the work is.
Right.
That doesn't mean you don't love your city. Like Memphis, man, I'm the first to tell people, yeah, I reside in Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm by way of Memphis, Tennessee. I will always rep Memphis because I don't want people to think that I'm a person from Georgia. Just enough Georgia talent. I'm a Memphis talent. I live
Yes,
in
I
Georgia
love
because
it.
this is where I'm getting paid. This is what,
Hmm.
I'm working. But I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I grew up in Whitehaven. Like, I want people to know that made me who
Right,
I am.
right,
Period.
exactly. Because I know I'm from North Memphis. I went to Northside High, so it's just
Yeah,
that's
like,
one
it's
of the
like,
things.
regardless of where
Support.
we live,
Hmm.
I want people to know, like, I will forever represent Memphis. Anytime I do an interview, anytime I do anything, people are gonna know I'm from Memphis, because I want people to realize it's a lot of talent out of Memphis, and
Oh,
people
it's so
sleep
much.
on Memphis, so
Hmm.
much. And I'm like, nah, man, so many talented people in Memphis. Some of them haven't gotten a chance to leave and pursue their careers, but I want people to know you can do this. Like, you can do just
Yeah.
like I'm doing.
No, you're so inspirational. I've just been getting chills. I'm like, yes, tell
Hey, let me tell you
it.
this, Santa. Like, and not on no bragging stuff, man. When y'all see what I got coming up, like,
Woo.
I filmed the show on OWN Network,
Okay.
in New Orleans like a month ago, and I'm so excited. I'm working with veteran actors that I've been watching all my life, and
Hmm.
I cannot believe that these are my castmates and scene partners, and I can't wait to promote that in a couple of months. And
Okay. I'm
um,
definitely gonna be
it's
looking out. You gonna make me get another app, man? Lord, I'm have to
listen.
get on.
Listen, I did 3 commercials this year. It's just like been such a good
Mhm.
year, and I just want people to know, man, you can do this. Like, all
Yeah.
you need is that one thing. Underground Railroad shot my trajectory to a whole nother level, and I'm so thankful for that project.
Yes. Can I
For
ask
sure.
you a question about
Hmm.
that? I didn't see. I may have looked away. Did you die? I
So
couldn't.
let me tell you, the funny thing is, we had a whole scene where we shot me getting killed. When we run out the church, my character Red was the first to run out of the church, and actually they had a whole scene where I got shot. It
Oh.
didn't make the final edit, and I hate it didn't, because I was really excited to get killed on my first project, because I think as an actor, everybody wants to get shot. Like, that's so cool to like die. And
Really?
so, like, yeah, I got like killed and everything. But so, yeah, most of us, and when you read the book, it
Hmm.
goes into more detail about all the characters that got killed. Like, so many people died. They
I was
obviously
so
had to cut
mad.
so much
Like,
out because the project was so long. But yeah, like
yes.
most of us died in that episode, like 8, if I'm not mistaken, it was 8 or 9. Like in that
Uh,
Tennessee episode, like it's crazy.
I was so sad. I was like, when Royal died, I was like, no.
Man, shout out to him, man. Shout out to my boy William Jackson Harper, man.
He did
He
it. He
became
did his
such a,
thing.
a good friend of mine, and watching him on The Good Place, he was nominated for an Emmy. To be working with somebody like him, like, and then him becoming a friend and like mentor, it's just so cool to be, have those type of people
Yeah.
around. Because he just like myself. He was like, man, look, he was going over to pilot season each year in LA. He's from New York, and he said
Mm.
the last time that he was going to go to pilot season because he was so over, this career
Hmm.
was when he booked The Good Place, and now 5 years later, he's Emmy nominated, and look at his
Mm.
life.
Look at
And
God. Look at the
yeah,
fruit.
he would tell
Look
me,
at the
he's like,
moon.
so this is just a prime example, bro. Like
Mhm.
you just never know when your life is going to change. And I'm
Right.
like, man, I think about that often now. Because that one thing this is when you kind of realize that actors and entertainers, these are just regular people just like us. They just had that one opportunity.
Yeah.
That's it.
And they
That's all you
didn't give
need.
up. And that's
And
the
they didn't
thing.
give up.
Kept on grinding, and
You
it
got to
seems
keep
like
grinding.
sometimes it happens when you just least expect it. Because I know because for me, like I lost my dad 3 years ago, and
Oh,
so,
sorry to hear that.
well, thanks, son. I know it's hard. You've
You
been there.
get it. Look, you
It's
understand it then.
it's some yeah
Exactly.
it's a whole level of bullshit, and I hate it. But I know that I try to live my life as well as I can, but also I think
Hmm.
about what my dad would be doing, and he'll be
Yeah.
hustling his ass off. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things I'm starting the podcast because I'm like, you know what? I want to do this. So let me do it instead of just sitting and waiting for something to happen. You have to make a lot of things
And
happen for
that's
yourself.
what it takes. And
Hmm.
that's that hustle mentality. It's like it's never going to be the perfect time. So
Right.
just do it. I have a lot of people like they're like, man, I want to try this, but so and so. So I'm like, you cannot wait till everything is perfect. You're never gonna start. It's never gonna be the perfect
Sure
time.
won't. It sure won't. You have to. And then the one thing I'm realizing is that I want things to be successful, but you have to be one consistent. You have to also
Hmm.
try, and you have
Yeah.
to just keep on going
People are
because
scared to fail, and I get it. Everybody,
yes,
but it's like you'll never know until you try it. Like, what if
exactly.
you don't fail?
You miss
And that's what
you
I tell
literally
people all
miss
the
a
time.
100% of the shots you don't take. So that's
Hmm.
why I'm doing just that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna ask him. And that's when I text you. I'm like, I'm gonna ask
Hmm.
him because you popped
Listen,
up on my story. I was like, I'm just gonna put it out here.
listen, hey, you don't never gotta worry. Like, you know me before I was doing this stuff. Listen, I'm the same dude. I tell people that all the time. Like, man, listen,
Right?
listen. I'm gonna remain humble. I'm gonna remain the same Ryan that people knew. Like it's never gonna go to my head because I'm still just a dude from Memphis that's just happy to be here. Like that's what I tell people
Right.
all the time. Like
I can
people come
see
up to
you
me and
being
they're
like,
like
I'm just so
recognize me or
happy.
they'll say stuff to me and they'll be like, man, this and that. I'm like, bro, I'm a dude from Memphis, happy to be here. Like you listen,
I
like
love that.
I
I'm a
don't
dude
let
from
this stuff
Memphis.
go
I'm
to
just
my
happy to
head.
be
Look, I'm happy to be in the room. Listen, and
right.
I
Big
think
Corbin.
that type of stuff will take people further, man. I'm not
Hmm.
ever gonna be, I'm confident, but I'm not ever arrogant about it. I'm
Right.
confident in my talent. I'm confident about the fact that I knew I would become an actor. I've been
Hmm.
saying this since I was a kid. Everybody in my family and my friends, they always said like that was something I knew I would do because I knew how much I wanted it. I
Right.
wasn't gonna stop until I did it. So I was
Hmm.
definitely confident I would become an actor. I didn't know when it would happen. I knew that I would be doing it though. Like even when I was working in behind the scenes with BET, they would tell me, Ryan, you're supposed to be on camera. Why are you behind the scenes? You have this look, you have this thing. And I would just laugh it off. But I knew I wanted it too. But it was
Yeah.
like, I looked at it like, okay, production is going to be a segue. Let me just kind of start out behind the scenes, learn a little bit about it. But I know ultimately, like while I was working for the other talent, I knew that I needed to, start working on myself, which is one of the reasons why I stopped working, doing PR and doing behind the scenes stuff because I was like, I need to put all of this energy into myself, because I know what I want to do as an actor. And so, you just have to like, you just remember that.
Right. You just have to really it sounds so cliche, but you really just have to keep your eyes on your own goals sometimes.
And
And
if you
you
don't believe in yourself, nobody else will believe in you. Like, and that's what
exactly.
I tell people all the time. Like, don't worry about the likes. Don't worry about, if you're not getting enough comments or feeling like people aren't supporting. You be consistent with your work. I've seen that happen with my social media. Like before I was doing big projects, I
Hmm.
was telling people I'm an actor. Like, period. I didn't
Same.
care if I had worked on an independent project that you guys never saw. I'm an
Hmm.
actor. You're an actor if that's what you're doing. You're acting. Like people think that, oh, I got to be an actor if you've seen me on TV. No, you're still an actor. If you're a singer, whether you have a hit or not, if you're singing. So I think if you look at it in that state, then you won't stress yourself out so much about it. And so now I'm looking at myself and I'm laughing because I'm like, not laughing, but I'm proud and patting myself on the back because I'm like, now people are believing in me and supporting because they saw that I never gave up. People have seen this from the beginning to now. Like, listen, this has been a process. This has not happened overnight for me.
I know, like the real true success does take time, especially
Yeah,
for if you want it to stick. Because I
yeah.
know, like you have to hone your craft, you have to, and then get that network of
People
people.
don't like to put the work in.
Yes,
People are impatient.
yes, and because I think with our society, we have given a lot of instant gratification to a lot
Mhm.
of people who we didn't
Yeah.
see them grind. But
Yeah,
I
social media does that a lot for sure. Now we didn't,
exactly.
obviously, when you and I were growing up, it was different. Now, they have this instant. You can just become a star, celebrity, quote unquote, very quick. But
Mm-hmm.
when it's all said and done, that type of stuff does not have longevity if you don't, really take the craft serious. So it's like I tell people, go to classes, read books,
Mm-hmm.
and really study these casting directors, study these actors that you look up to, because I'm the type, anytime I get audition and I look at the director, I'm looking up their work. I'm trying to see what past projects they've had. I know the shooting style of them. Each person has their own way of shooting, so you got to remember that. So when you're doing your auditions, you can think about that because they will notice if you've researched it. They know, like they can tell if you've
That's
seen
true.
their work or not because they know the type of things they want. Some like Barry Jenkins, I was obviously already really familiar with all of his work anyway, but like I went making sure I watched everything he had done, and I knew the stillness. I knew how he cared so much about those slow motion shots and those moments and those beats and pauses where you're showing those characters in thought and showing that inner monologue going through that character's head. Like I knew that was something that Barry paid attention to. So when I'm auditioning, I'm thinking about that, like in my head, that inner monologue, because I'm like, this is what Barry does,
Mm.
So it's just important to do the work.
Well, shoot, you definitely did the work, and I want everybody to watch the
Yeah,
Underground
if you
Railroad.
have not checked it out, man,
It,
make sure
it's
y'all get
it's
on Amazon. Check out our project, man. We worked hard. We shot for over a year.
God dang, for
Like,
real? Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah. We shot for
Dang.
over a year. We shot in Savannah, Georgia, and Covington, Georgia, which is like an hour outside of Atlanta.
Okay.
And the good thing about that part was like that was when I would like take those drives to set. It took about 45 minutes from my house to get to Covington, and they would ask me if I wanted a hotel near the set, but I just wanted to come home and get in my bed after those long days. But I would
Yes.
take those that time driving to set each morning, and I would just sit there like, wow, Ryan, you moved to Atlanta to be a working actor, and you're a working actor now. You're driving the set.
Yeah.
Those were the moments where I'm like, wow, you are really like doing the damn thing. I was proud of myself.
And that's
Like for
beautiful.
real.
You
Sometimes
got to.
you don't take those moments to really appreciate it and like just take it in because it's so much happening so fast. But those moments driving a set, whether it took 45 to an hour, like I would literally just sit there in silence and just be just like thinking about my mom, how proud of me she is, and all that stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're getting close to the end, so there's just maybe two more questions I want to
Okay.
ask you. And this is why I like to end out on all my episodes is what do you love the most about being a black man?
You know what? I think that, man, being a black man is like the ultimate like sign of strength. I think that we are looked at as, if you had to think about the strongest people on earth, I think that people would think of a black man.
Hmm.
We have endured so much, and yet we have this presence about us that nobody can take away. When a
Hmm.
black man enters the room, you see him, you know him. Nobody can command that attention like a man of color. Like,
Yeah.
period. And I
I.
mean, that's just a black person in general. Like,
Hmm.
we have this essence about us. We control the cool. Like, whatever black people are doing, that's what's
Mm-hmm.
cool. And I think that is like, I heard somebody say that years ago, and I was like, man, that doesn't make any sense, like the most sense ever. Like when you look at the Olympics and stuff, like the sports, like typically 9 times out of 10, man, we're dominating sports. We're the strongest, we're the fastest. It's like
Mm-hmm.
we're just built with this thing that God put in us to be able to just like take over whatever. And if I think if more black people realize that and we come together, like our power is untouchable when
Yeah.
we come together. You know,
Yeah.
black women in general, nobody can do what a black woman can do. Like, you know, it's just that feeling that a black woman gives you when she walks into the room, when she's, somebody, a person that's going to be there for you and save you and do whatever they got to do is going to be a black woman. So,
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely say being a black man is probably my ultimate, like the strength of a black man and the presence of a black man and what we bring, to any situation would be my, favorite thing about being a black man for sure.
Mm. Beautiful, beautiful. You actually answered my second question. Also, what do you love about Black women?
Oh,
And
look,
yeah.
everything. Everything, man.
Well,
It's nothing like the sisters out here, man. Y'all always, black women are always grinding, trying to
mhm.
get to the next level and doing everything at once, whether it's, being mothers, being caregivers, working, grinding, trying to, traveling the world with their I love to see like groups of black women on their like, their friend trips and all of them out
Oh
there
yeah.
fly on the beach like I'm like, yes, sis, go ahead. Like live your life. Like that's what I like, because
I
life
love
is
seeing black
short.
travel. I love seeing
Yes, black
black
travel.
travel. I
Like,
was like, ah.
listen, because I'm a traveler, so I
Mhm.
love to see us out here in the world. Like traveling kind of changed my life. Like I felt like it just opened up my eyes to
Yes.
so much, the cultures of different places. And like I'm addicted to traveling. Like I
Hmm.
love to see the world. And so when I see black women out here with their homegirls and sisters and like, they got the braids in and they got their bikinis on, they doing that coordinated, y'all love a coordinated photo shoot. The black women gonna get those
Spoken
outfits
like a
together
true
to get
model.
that. Listen. I'm visual, so I'm loving. I'm like, yes, y'all
Yes.
get those colors together. Like, let's go. So yeah,
The
I think that's,
coordination,
man,
the
the
way we
coordination.
coordinate.
Listen, I love it. Take those pictures, like post this shit up. Like, man, listen, let people know you out here traveling.
I
Like for
love
real.
it. I love it. Well, what's the okay? Almost last question.
Mhm.
Where's your next trip you're going to for pleasure?
Yeah. So actually next week, next Thursday to
Okay.
be exact, I'm flying to Hawaii. So
Okay.
excited. I've always wanted to see Hawaii. And a good friend of mine is out there now working for a couple of months. So it kind of made it even better. I'm like, wow, like I don't even have to worry about trying to find anybody to travel with me. I got a friend already living out there. So I'm flying out there next week. Really excited
Um,
because even though Hawaii's the States, it feels like, it feels like you're overseas.
yeah,
So I'm definitely excited to explore the island and see it for sure.
that's awesome. Well,
And I
do
need a vacation. It's needed. Like I've been working hard. I'm like,
yes.
man, listen, I gotta make some time. Like that work life balance is really important.
You need to go ahead and spend some of that Underground Railroad money.
Listen, your boy, listen. When I those texts, listen, I was like, okay, Barry, okay, Amazon budget. Come on, budget. This is what we
Come
work
on,
hard
being
for.
being a character and
Come
stuff.
on, come on, come on, come on, co-star. Listen, I'm
I
listening.
know. I was looking when I was watching it. When you look at Amazon Prime, you could pause in there and
You
show
hit
like
that
the
pause.
name of everybody on the
You see
screen.
your boy
I
pop
saw
up on
you.
that
I saw my
screen. Oh,
boy. I was
listen,
like,
that
let
feeling is so amazing when I push pause and you can look at bios and see
it go.
additional
Yes.
pictures. Like I'm like, wow, now this is when you know you have done something. Like to be on the Amazon pause bar. Like, wow,
Yes,
cool. It's
I
super,
saw
super
that. I
cool.
tried to screenshot it, but Amazon Prime got that stuff black. So I was like, "Look at him, he
You
right
must have
there."
been watching from your phone.
Yeah, I was.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say they don't play about that when you watching it
They
from the
don't
phone. That's hilarious.
play. They don't play.
Yeah.
Well, I can talk to you all day. You're awesome, and I'm so
Nah,
excited.
thank you for the invitation, for
Oh,
real.
thank you for accepting and dealing with the some of our technical difficulties that we had.
Nah. It is, I understand, and we can do it again when I got my other projects come out. Y'all look out for your boy on OWN Network. I can't wait to
Yes.
announce what, man, once they finish this season, I can actually bring it up and talk about it. Like,
I'm so excited.
y'all gonna be proud of them all through the episode. So it ain't gonna be no stuff like Underground Railroad where they couldn't see. Like, nah, y'all finna listen.
Hey, I was still, I hope.
And such and I'm working with another black director. I
Oh,
had another
cool.
black director on my so I got Barry Jenkins, already, and this
Okay.
black director is another one that people are gonna be excited when I say who that
Uh,
is.
I'm just so excited for you. Like this conversation has given me so much life, and I'm so thankful for you.
I'm glad. I'm
And
glad.
I am definitely going to be looking out, and I will be getting on just so I can watch you. Like I said, I
Listen,
support my fellow
thank you.
Memphian, my indie
Hey,
love. We
listen,
got
all of that.
all of
Tennessee,
that.
Indy Love, Memphian,
Yes.
like I appreciate the support, and again, we can do it again whenever you need.
Well, you ain't
for
said nothing
real.
but the word. You up and gave me your number, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna be like,
I got the little app now on my phone. Yeah, I got the little Anchor app, so ain't
exactly.
nothing.
Maybe you might need to have your own podcast for
The
Black
funny thing is, I've
men.
never thought about it. Like, like the sky's the limit. Hey, I won't say I won't because you never know.
Hey,
Listen,
baby, diversify that portfolio. You
yep,
never know.
yep,
Well,
very versatile.
I'm going to let you go because I know we actually went over a little bit, so I'm
It's
glad.
all good. Nah, it's all good.
Great. Well, I'm so thankful for you again, and everybody, please make sure you check out The Killing Secret, and also Underground Railroad on Amazon Prime. It's beautifully shot. It tells a wonderful. It was not a wonderful story, but it tells a story of resilience and
Yeah,
family
yeah.
and community, and it's just so beautifully shot, and I'm so grateful to get a chance to talk with you and get some behind the scenes information
Yeah.
about it, and just good luck with everything, or break a leg, knock on wood, I don't know which one. All of them, and I look forward to talking with you again, so thank you so much.
Thank you again. And y'all, anybody listening, man, you can follow your boy on
Oh.
Instagram at Ryan.James.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the type, and on Facebook at Ryan James. I try to post like a lot of behind the scenes stuff on my stories when I'm filming because like I like people to feel like they're a part of it. So
Yep.
you'll check me out. I post a lot of my work and stuff. So hey, y'all check me out.
And I will make sure to put the links in the bio for everybody. So make sure you check them out. You get some behind the scenes, because I know I stay be on your stories. So I'll be like, hey,
Yeah, I try to give a little experience, So
I
see, I just don't know
know
how it works, the inner workings. I try to
a
give a little
little
stuff.
virtual reality. Come on, I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
it. Well, thank you so much again, and everybody, please watch the show. And again, this is your girl Sana Win with Cosigns and Tangents, and you have a great day. And bye bye.